Hello everybody, once again this is G, and I'm back with another video, but today we're doing something different. I decided to try out this game called Transport Fever 2, and after playing it for a while, I realized that I think it's time for a video. And what I want to show you today is how to bootstrap your operation at the earliest year on the hardest difficulty, and then you can just take it from there. So without further ado, let's go. Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to start a free game. Randomize the seed. So you know it's not a fluke, just something totally random. Everything is on medium. Next. Alright, we're going to pick 1850. And difficulty is going to be hard. You can select different types of trains. I'm just going to pick the USA. Let's go. Alright, finally loaded. Welcome. And the most important thing when you're starting is just hit pause. And then you're going to need to look for a location. As they say, it's location, location, location. So let's have a look. When picking a location, there's several factors that are very important. And one of them is the type of resource. There's several resources in the game. And the most important ones at the very beginning are these four. You have iron here. You've got logs. You got coal over there, or you got oil, crude oil specifically. And why is it one of these four and not some of the others? It has to do with demand. The way this game handles demand is your track needs to be, well, I'm saying track because if you're using a train or a road or whichever transport method, needs to be connected between your supply and demand. And once connected, the demand will begin at that point. And if the demand for that resource is low, then the production will also be low, and your track or road is just not going to be very efficient, and you're going to lose money. So you want to start with something that's going to give you high demand right off the cuff, and it's going to be one of these four. So let's have a look around. Now, the second thing that's really important is the elevation. So if we look at the terrain, there's a terrain mode right here. You're going to see these contour lines. Now, you can see them better if you zoom in. You're going to see them. Here they are. And what you want to do is you want to try and go along the lines if you can. And you want to go ideally on a flat terrain, and you definitely don't want to go uphill with cargo. You can go uphill if you're empty and then return downhill with cargo, but not the other way around. So let's look around here. All right, so for iron, for example, we need some consumer. And same goes for coal and anything else. We're looking for consumers now. Let's have a look around here. All right, so here's a steel mill. It takes iron and coal, but it needs something really close. Because your trains or whatever other transport you're going to use at the very beginning are very weak. So you need something. Here we go. This probably would do. It's close enough. Let's look at the elevation. All right, that's looks like a pretty sweet spot. You can kind of look around this way as well. You can see it's pretty flat. And like I said, the other thing that's important besides the type of resource and the elevation and grade is the distance. You want to pick something that's fairly close together. So these two are pretty close for the early trains. And what we'll do is we'll begin by building two stations and connect them to the track. And you don't want to start with the track because then it gets messy. You want to start with the stations. So let's do it. Click down here, pick a building. And I recommend to build terminal stations because what you want to do is build them with a one-to-one connection. And that will reduce the complexity of the system. The next thing you want to do is you want to aim them kind of at each other. And then if we zoom in over here, what you want to do is you want to have this terminal kind of, you see that little road that's connecting between the terminal and the road? You want that to just touch that. And the log camp will light up white. That means it's, it's reachable. So that's good. Then we go over here And we sort of line it up. We're going to turn this around like that. So let's see here. There we go. And just kind of bring it just there. Done. And then we just connect the track at the end. And the tracks have a snap option. We can snap them over here. Done. So you see this track is relatively straight and very short, which is exactly what you want for very early trains. Now we're going to need to put a train on this track. So let's do that. Go to buildings. Pick a train depot over here. And then you just kind of want to line up the train depot with the rest of the track. So you can just put it over here. And now you see here, it's representing the speed in these circles. And the early trains are really slow, so you don't really need to worry about this too much. So however you connect it is fine. Here we go. And don't worry too much about the cost of the track, because there's no significant impact on monthly. The biggest impact is from the trains. So yeah, so the vehicles are by far the most expensive, not the track. Then what you probably want to do is name your stations. So let's do something sensible. We click here, Pueblo. Well, let's be more specific. Let's say Pueblo logs, and over here, Pueblo, let's say this produces, now this produces wood from logs. So let's just call it sawmill. There we go. So we're going to go from logs to sawmill. In fact, let's call it sawmill receiving, because we're going to build a separate station for sending if we want to. Done. And then this is a train depot. Next thing you want to do is set up a line. So you go here at the bottom, new line, and then you want to pick your stations. Done. We go from logs to sawmill receiving. Pretty straightforward. You can name your line. Let's say Pueblo logs. I like to call the lines with whatever they're sending. So if they're sending logs, it's going to be logs. Then you want to configure to make sure you pick up only and you drop off only. Now, because we're only picking logs, you click on this gear and we don't need to unload anything. Here you can technically load anything because there's only one thing you could possibly load, but I like to be specific. So we pick just logs. And on the unload, we definitely don't want to load anything. And we can unload everything here, it doesn't matter because the only thing we have is logs. But again, I like to be specific. So we pick logs. Done. We add a train. We click on a depot, buy vehicles. Now the only locomotive is available here is this puny thing. You can filter it if you click steam. You can see obviously electric and diesel are not available. So steam it is. You're going to need to add several units. And I'll explain why in just a minute. So let's say we start with 2. And then, matter of fact, let's make it 3. And for the cargo, we're going to need, there's different kinds of cars and they don't interchange dynamically. For instance, in some other games like Railroad Tycoon, for example, cars will depend on the cargo and they will automatically switch. Here, the cars are fixed. So you don't want to have a train carry different resources with the same kind of car. It's just not going to work. So you gotta adjust to that. So in this case, we're going to pick the flat car, and that carries logs among other things. We're going to add a whole bunch here. Now we're going to buy that, and then we're going to look at something here. We're going to pick new line. Done. Now we're going to look at something. See down here, there's this button here for lines. Click here. And then what you're going to see is this rate. This is the most important number right now. This rate. You want this rate here to match this production over here, this shipment. So the shipment, not production, but the shipment needs to match the rate. And so this is not enough. We're going to need more cars. So you click on the vehicles. And now you can manage it. And by the way, once you have a train, you do not need that depot anymore on that line. So we can actually delete the depot after, once the train leaves it. So we click here. We're gonna add one more flat car. And then you go back here and you look again. 406, that sounds about right. So let's let it run. And this can change depending on the game recalculating. It's kind of like the Windows loading bar, you know, how it's like 30 minutes, then it can go to like 30 seconds, then 1 day, you know, it's kind of like that. It has to dynamically try to calculate this. So if we give it a few minutes, it's going to adjust correctly. Okay, you see it dropped here, so clearly we need more cars. Let's go here. We add one more flat car. Look again. 423. This can be a little bit over. You just don't want it to be under. Now it's dropped. You see, as we're adding more cars, it's slowing down because this locomotive is really terrible. So what we're going to need to do inevitably is add one more loco, probably. Go here. I like to put them at the beginning. Let's have a look again. Gotta wait for it to recalculate. We're gonna need more cars. There we go. So we got 4 locomotives and 11 cars. Let's give it a few more minutes just to make sure it settles down at the right number. 420. How convenient. My favorite number. All right. Looks like it settled down at 420. And what you do from here on is, well, you have a look at the balance here. Make sure this is overall positive. If after a few minutes the balance is positive, then you're in the money and you just let this run for a while. And I don't know, go have some coffee, have dinner. You can even leave it running overnight. Doesn't matter. The years will increment, but after running this for a while, it's going to produce enough money for you to then build anything you want. So, and then, oh, by the way, we can delete this depot. Don't need that because it costs money. All right, this thing's working. 419. It was so nice at 420, but anyways, that's pretty much it for the first video. And let me know if you guys liked it and if you want me to do any other videos on this game, because I read some comments that folks have said that it's very difficult on the hard start. People are losing money. This is how you not do that, and you can make enough to, you know, get started and then build more tracks and so forth. So yeah, if you guys like this video, let me know in the comments below and I'll make more videos. Otherwise, I'll go back to Oxygen. I have a few videos pending that I want to get out, but you know, because of the holidays, things have been delayed, family and other related things. So yeah, this has been G, and make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye.